So today's episode is titled Reshaping Legal Careers Through AI and Entrepreneurship. Our guest is Guhan, a legal professional, entrepreneur, and a founder who has successfully combined legal expertise with AI driven innovation. So, hi, welcome to Let's Interact.
Thank you, Vidushi.
All right.
So yeah, uh, so I think I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. So
Yes, sure.
yeah, so I think being this entrepreneurship was not something was like a career switch. It was always in my mind. So when I came back to India in 2024 after completing my LLB, I was sure I was not. I'm not someone who wanted to get into litigation and especially in India because I have seen because I have come from a real estate background and I know the type of time that it will take through get through a court process and litigation process, and I always wanted to do something different. But it was during the time of COVID. Actually, I did my BBA initially, so I was not someone who wanted to get into the legal career. But then during the COVID, I realized that I wanted to do something which would bring some value to the ecosystem. I'm not denying the fact that BBA would bring, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So that's how I chose my LLB. And then when I came back here, I did try my internship as well for a month, and it was completely different because the reason is when I was in England, the whole process of presenting and drafting was completely different, where you had to prepare through a certain set of documents and you had to prepare yourself before presenting anything. But here it was completely different. It is all just about how you fabricate and go ahead with the story. So I realized this is not my cup of tea, and also at the same point I wanted to do something. So that's how I came into consulting. Basically, I started as a consultant,
Okay.
and a person brought me this idea. They told me, we wanted to import a car wash machinery, and then it was dropped. And then I asked my friend, why shouldn't we do it? He was
Fine.
also a very passionate person about automotives and everything, and he told me, Guhan, we can do this machinery in Coimbatore, and that is how this started. So coming from a tier 2 city, we thought it was not possible, and he's an auditor and I'm a lawyer, and we both are not from a technical background. So initially we hired a team and it didn't work out, and it took us almost more than 14 months. And even now my mom still keeps insisting me, when you should go ahead and do masters in law. But then I keep telling my mom, listen, this whole thing is not going to exist in another 2 or 3 years, because if you ask me, are we in the race of AI in India? No, we're not even in the race, because we are so behind that the bottleneck is completely different. So I think bridging this gap between AI and legal space was something which I started exploring in the recent months. It all started just from I think an idea. So initially, when I had my real estate documents and etc., I realized that this process is completely a very lengthy one, and it is also a very expensive one, because since we are into real estate, we'll be receiving more than at least 50 to 20 properties in a day span of time. So when you consider that, it will be almost around 600 documents, and when you give the 600 documents, by the time you receive the legal opinion, it will take at least 6 to 8 months. So that's how the process is. And also, 3 years back, I did my research paper in AI in England. So
Okay.
at that point of time, it was completely different, because chat gpt was just stemming, and I realized that soon I'll be losing my job. Even if I'm in England, I'll be losing my job, and that's how I'm seeing it right now, because a lot of my fellow mates who have completed their LLB in England are telling me, Guhan, this is completely different from what we were preparing for. So
Yes.
that's how
It is.
yeah the career has shifted. So fortunately, I came to Substack. I just wanted to know what people are doing around, so that's how I came into this space. And I did see your articles and I did see your research and everything. So I thought, why not, you know, get into the space where we can share and contribute to the legal space.
Yes, thank you so much for joining. And yes, actually, the AI system is like tremendous. It's happening at a very large scale that every field is getting affected by it. And so my question is like, you are from non-technical background, right? And you are like doing AI stuff, which is totally technical. So how is it challenging? I mean, how you face everything and how you deal with it currently?
I mean, I think it's exciting. Uh, I'll tell you how I started with it. So initially, when I wanted to do a website for my company, a person charged me somewhere around 15,000. And then
Okay.
when I received the product, basically the website, I knew this was completely not worth it. It was like probably, some person who's in their 10th standard or 11th standard would do something better. And then I realized people like me who wants to start something in this ecosystem has to pay for a lot of things. And that's how my journey in fact started. But I did do my 11th and 12th. I had computer science, but not much of a technical, but it was all related to like database and everything else stuff. And I've never been a person who could like learn this coding or anything. Even now I know what are the programming languages that exist, but it's not like I deep dive into a lot of things. So that's how the journey started. And now, if you ask me in the 6 months of journey, have I improved? Yes, of course. Every day is an improvement. So I think it is more of an excitement and curiosity that, it just keeps moving forward. And especially when I open my Twitter, when I see the Western people talking about a lot of stuffs, and I realize, okay, like we are so far behind that we have to learn a lot of things, and this AI is actually a overrated word, and
Okay.
that's how I see it. That's how I see
I
it.
mean, how does it, I mean, why do you think that it's an overrated word? Like,
Okay, I'll give you a very small example. So recently, I mean, all of my batch mates, like 95% of them are auditors now. They are certified auditors, and I'm the
mm,
one who's a lawyer now. Since fortunately I did not get into the domain, I had the opportunity to learn more about AI. So 3 weeks back, one of my friend he came and he told me, Guhan, I've been using this AI and it's been so great and everything. I was like, what do you do? So he was like, it has made my work really easy. And I was like, what do you basically do and how is it helping you? It's like, whenever I get the data, usually it took
mm,
me, almost more than 10 hours, 12 hours to, read it and give my client a, analysis and everything. So I asked what changed now. He was like, I feed every single data into the Claude or ChatGPT or whatsoever, and it gives me, you know, analysis. And I asked him, how do you specifically think AI is helping you here? And he was like, it makes my work really easy. I agree on that point. But you know what is really the most dangerous one here? Would you be able to tell me?
um, no, I have no idea.
So basically, we are feeding a confidential data into the server,
Oh,
which
yes,
auditors and
obviously.
lawyers are not supposed to be doing. And I think this is the space where lawyers in India, and especially not just lawyers in India, even I came across a post on LinkedIn yesterday where there was a post about how Claude is helping lawyers and everything and etc. But I think the deep infrastructure, when people realize what is behind it, I think it is like
Mm,
a step for us to start really thinking how this infrastructure works basically. So
absolutely.
I think,
Actually, yes.
yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, you are right. Actually, people are so freely, feeding data to this AI systems and without realizing that what they are doing, because this can create a lot of hustle later on. And
Yes.
I mean, it's threatening. Right now, we just see like, okay, it's working for us. Every answers are like presented to us very easily. But now we have to understand that it is something which is going to be very, very dangerous for us in the future. And you're
and
absolutely.
and not just that. So when you feed a lot of data, say basically you're feeding it 100 pages or
Hmm.
200 pages, it could be much more, because in our profession it is a lot of bunch of papers, but only few papers actually make sense.
Hmm.
So we think that it has actually shortened and it has given a true analysis, but that's not the truth. That is
Hmm.
not how it works as well. So
Exactly.
basically, I'll tell you right now, for what we are using, right? For example, you could take any AI models. It could be
Yes.
GPT, it could be Claude, and there are like models we could list the whole day.
Hmm.
So there are so many
Yes.
models right now, and all these models will give you a very confident answer, which is not true.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
the whole reason
Absolutely.
I wanted to get into the legal tech. So basically,
Hmm.
this would help, lawyers specifically. This platform is basically for lawyers in assisting them rather than replacing their work. And I think that should
Hmm.
be the motto for anyone right now who is graduating, out of law or any profession, let it be finance or etc. I think that is what should be trained to students and graduates like us.
Absolutely. And I think that is, I mean, this is something which we should be very aware. Being a lawyer, if we are not aware of this, then it's threatening, right? And many a times we see that so many fake cases are generated by the prompts, and we think, okay, this is the case. All right, we just draft it and we present before the court, and that creates a lot of problem. So you're absolutely right. So I mean, this would have been a little bit a long journey for you, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's day by day, day after day, it is like improving, and so many things are happening, and we are
You,
so
you
much.
know,
Yes.
the most fascinating part is when I came into the space, I came with a certain, like a knowledge, where I thought this is what it is. But in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been researching about
Okay.
hardware infrastructure, which actually powers AI, how this could be better and how this can be improved. Because the reason is all the AI models that we see across right now are trained on English, English
Hmm.
language, and it could be, for example, you take Chinese models, it is all trained on Chinese languages. But
Hmm.
whereas in India, it is completely different.
Hmm.
Say, for example, I'm in Tamil Nadu, and
Hmm.
all the documents that I see here, majority the ones, except the companies, because companies are supposed to be, dealing with English, and since the MOA and other things are in complete English language, it is different.
Hmm.
But then when you
Hmm.
take property related documents,
Hmm.
like buying and selling
Yes.
transactions and etc., all
Absolutely.
the documents are in the regional languages.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it is like not, I would say probably, somewhere around like 10 to 15% that we are in an accurate position right now when we consider models being used in Indian legal space.
Hmm.
So that would be
Yes.
my answer right now.
Yes, because India is like so vast and so many languages are there, and it's not easy for like it's very easy to get answers in English, right? And you're absolutely
Yeah.
right here that uh, so many regional languages are there. So yes, it's hard for
and
lawyers
and
especially.
yeah, and even the models that were trained, basically there's something concept called as a tokenization concept. So
Yes.
that's the whole reason when you feed a 100-page document in English and a 100-page document in regional languages, it is completely a different one.
Hmm.
The answer which we receive will not even be, I mean, it's like basically, us delegating a work and us being more prudent in checking what it has basically done. It is like basically doubling the work rather than just, uh, giving something to help us with.
Hmm. So, is India like doing something in this? Like, I don't think so. That is I mean, in this kind of problem, like that legal tech. where you said the language barriers and not understanding the AI models are unable to understand, right? So,
It
is
is.
there any current things which are going on in India, as far as your knowledge
Yeah,
can?
I think Sarvam AI is actually helping the ecosystem, like, like
Okay.
legal techs. For example, I am someone who's been, working on Tamil language legal tech platform right now,
Hmm.
basically assisting property related documents which are in Tamil
Hmm.
and of course in
Okay.
Hindi. But right now, my main focus is in Tamil because I come from a real estate background and I wanted to try something experiment here. But if you ask me, it is not just going to be one person's effort.
Hmm.
Each one has to do
Yes.
something different. So right now, I know a person who's just doing intensive research and trying to, bring a very good model where,
Hmm.
it could read even the 1970s and 1960s handwritten scripts
Yes. So
in
many.
Tamil. And
Hmm.
basically, that ecosystem can help you build this. So that's how it works. It's like basically us helping each other. And if you ask me, government needs to be the bigger person here and start encouraging people.
Exactly. I also believe the same because no matter what, it is the future, right?
Yeah.
And whatever we can do, we are doing our best, but still, these are the areas which we just forget. Okay, we are talking about AI so for so many times, and everyone is talking about it right now. But these are some niche areas where we have to cover everything and the nuances, right? So, okay, let me ask some like how like what was the misconceptions do you think that lawyers are like not into entrepreneurship mainly? Like many people, lawyers do not prefer entrepreneurship. They do not find it a stable career path. So, what is your take in that?
I mean, when during my studies, we had this particular subject, I chose a subject, law as a business. And
Okay.
when I asked few friends here who are lawyers and they are practicing, I asked them, have you ever had such a subject where the curriculum teaches you after graduating, how are you supposed to be starting a business, basically law as a business? And
Hmm.
no, the answer was completely no. Because right after you graduate, the initial thought that comes to your mind is basically, I want to be placed as an intern.
Hmm.
So that is the initial thought that which comes to the mind. And I think, especially right now, people who are solo lawyers, I don't know whether you are a second gen lawyer or a first gen lawyer, and are you a
First
first gen or
generation. First
first gen? And
generation.
I know how first gen can be really difficult
Yes.
because I see a lot of firms where, it's like I know a firm here which is third or fourth generation, I guess, and literally almost like more than 70% of the companies in this city prefer them
Hmm.
just because they are established and everything. So being a first gen, it is completely different. But I'll tell you, we have the biggest leverage because we have nothing to lose and we don't have any expectation on the shoulders. And
Hmm.
I think that is where we should start thriving even better. Because all the firms which are established right now, I mean, I don't see any improvements from the old traditional things that they have been doing.
Hmm.
Because since they are so, you know, indulgent in the specific that they're dealing with, say, for example, a firm has been dealing with companies and, probably family laws and etc. They don't see a helping them anywhere. But then if you ask someone who's graduated and who's a solo and who's a first gen, those people, they want to try different options because they don't get really a lot of choices,
Yes, absolutely.
especially when I see in my state a lot of graduates come out and there's always this set, not just here, in any country. Even there it was like, you're from Oxford, and certain set of firms are already reserved for you. And you're coming
Yes.
from a tier two university, certain set of firms are reserved for
Hmm.
you.
Hmm. Yes,
But
this is.
now, but now, no matter from which university you are in, your job is going to be replaced because law requires experience. Say, for example, you are a senior lawyer with 30 years of experience, okay?
Hmm.
And you'll be having two or mostly two lawyers under you who will be having similar, say, for example, 15 to 20 years of experience. And under them, there'll be four lawyers, junior lawyers who just graduated, who will be, basically doing a lot of research work and helping them with documentation and etc. In
Hmm.
India, it is completely different because here, I will tell you, the pay is an absolute crisis. Because,
Absolutely.
because, see, it's not just about how much we spend for the education, it's about how much we go through during that period of time. We put so much of efforts, and when I see that, lawyers or auditors or even dentists or
Hmm.
doctors, anyone for that matter who spend 5 years,
Hmm.
relentlessly working hard, having a passion is not just not going to, serve you shelter, food, and etc. At the end of
Exactly.
the day, it is also the income. And the interns here get paid somewhere around 8,000 to 10,000. I mean, max. I don't know how it works in.
Like I mean, somewhere they are not paid at all. So some
They're
places they
not
are
paid at
paid.
all.
Yeah. Yes. This also happens.
And
So
here I feel it is an exploitation.
absolutely, it is.
It is an exploitation. And this is the whole reason right now we should start using AI, and we should start basically becoming, or like probably a freelancer. So right now,
Hmm.
I've been helping few of my fellow mates who are in England with, implementing AI in their firm. So
Hmm.
basically, firms in UK, US, and few other countries have started implementing AI. The reason is, say for example, if we are going to get job somewhere in UK, our pay scale is going to be somewhere around say 50,000 to 60,000 pounds on an initial period, and once you
Hmm.
get the license, it is going to be somewhere around 85,000 pounds.
Hmm.
So this 60,000 pounds will be basically replaced by AI
Hmm.
because it is going to do the same work as you in a much faster pace and
Hmm.
gives you a very insightful and more interactive, analysis than a junior lawyer. So you basically do it at half the cost. But here
Yes.
in India, the reason why I feel personally there's not much of improvements in AI is because of the exploitation here. When people are actually ready to work, we have
Hmm.
no other option that we have to work for, you know, the amount that they actually give us, the pay that they give us. I think that is the whole reason this whole AI space is not getting anywhere, specifically when it comes to legal, in my
So,
opinion.
yes, I totally agree with you. But there's an issue like if we indulge or incorporate AI in our work, so we will not require a lot of lawyers also. So don't you think
I
that? I mean,
mean,
this will create a lot of. That's also a drawback, right? We will be many people will be unemployed. Um,
I will tell you,
yes.
India has 17 lakh plus lawyers,
Hmm.
and the legal AI is estimated to be somewhere around $10 billion.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yes.
among the 17 lakh lawyers, people who are, probably the top 1% will be somewhere around, in the, I think probably, 10,000 of 20,000 lawyers. Say, for example,
Hmm.
since we are a private limited company,
Mm-hmm.
The lawyers that we hire usually for a case will
Mm-hmm.
be someone on the top. Either it will be, the top tier lawyers, probably who practices in Supreme Court or etc. But
Mm-hmm.
when you take the mid firms, right,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of clients where, you wouldn't be able to differentiate between the tier 2 and tier 3 in India because it is basically the same. Because when we talk about tier 3, a lot of people don't want to go through litigation, so they just leave it as it is. Even I'm talking about the instances of legal notices because uh, I'll give you a fair example. So I have worked across different firms in England where if you're running a business, say for example, you know, you're imagine you're running a store and
Mm-hmm.
you're cleaning and someone
Mm-hmm.
walks through and they get hurt of some,
Mm-hmm.
some negligence. If
Mm-hmm.
it is in India, they're just gonna leave,
Mm-hmm.
probably, scream at you and they're gonna leave. But in any other country, probably like UK or US, it's not the same
Yes.
because they're gonna file against you because
Mm-hmm.
there's a law where you should be actually keeping a board. There's work in progress, you are supposed to be more careful here when you walk. But in India it is
Mm-hmm.
completely different. And the reason I gave
Yes.
you this example is when the little things start mattering, right? Say for example, every citizen knows their laws, every
Mm-hmm.
citizen knows that they deserve this right and everything. The
Mm-hmm.
whole ecosystem will start improving. The whole ecosystem will start improving. And when this whole ecosystem starts improving, the whole legal space will start improving. And when we talk about AI replacing lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
lawyers who don't use AI will be replaced by lawyers who use AI. As simple as that.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's interesting. And yeah, I totally agree with you that in our India, I mean, especially, we don't care. And however, it's very different from other countries. So you have must have dealt with various cases there also as well,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you. Okay.
I mean, I have been, practicing medical negligence, taught medical negligence specifically. And then, even when it comes to, uh, governance. Even I'm not sure how it works in the other states. Probably in in country like UK or US. Even the government has to be careful. For example, a police who takes someone into custody has to be really diligent, and they have to give a complete information on what has been charged, and why the person was arrested, or what is the affair about, and everything else. And I think even that space is something which India needs to go ahead with, because once everything starts getting responsible, the legal ecosystem will have much more work to do. And once you have this much more work to do, you will need even more lawyers because the population is so high. See, we have
Yes.
so it is like you have such a big population. And once you consider, right, we have 17 lakh lawyers, and these 17 lakh lawyers, I'm very sure half of them are lawyers, but I'm not sure how many people actually are into practice.
I yes, that many are into this legal field, but yes, the numbers are not clear. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so it's interesting. So, what do you think? How much time will India take to actually, be somewhere in that platform, in that level, with all the other countries who are using AI as a tool, which is helping in their, especially if we talk about legal field. I mean, I know it's very initial, but we
I'll
we
tell
we
you.
should. Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. For a country like India, where we have so many bright minds, it shouldn't take us a lot of time. It
Yes.
shouldn't actually take a lot of time. But the sad
Hmm.
part is, it would take another 10 years.
Okay. I
It would
believe
take
that
another
it will
10 years.
10 years. I mean, yes, I agree with you that it will take a lot of time, and 10 years
It'll take a
probably.
lot of time. And the
Hmm.
whole reason is because digitization in India
Hmm.
involves a lot of resources.
Hmm.
Say, for example, US spends somewhere around, I think probably 3 to 4% out of their GDP on R&D and etc.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Whereas, I read this, and I think India spends somewhere around 0.64% or something, somewhere less than a
Yes.
percent.
Yeah, it's not. Mm.
And I think once this phase starts improving, right, we
Hmm.
can accelerate. And I think probably, we'll have much more improved system than any other country. And I think that is
Hmm.
where we should start leading, because we see, India has 17 lakh lawyers, and this is the biggest population of lawyers in any country.
Obviously, yeah. Yes, it is.
If if each one can contribute to this ecosystem in
Hmm.
different ways, imagine
Hmm.
what we could do.
Hmm.
But the main
Absolutely.
question is, are we ready to do this? That is the whole point.
Yes, that willingness, and obviously, if that willingness is there, then resources would already come, because India is like very excelling in every field, everywhere, and all over the world. We can see everywhere they are on the top. So yes, I agree with you. And so, what do you suggest? Like, if a law student is graduating in 2026, what do you suggest them how to make themselves equipped with the current scenario? What do you recommend them?
Well, I would tell them, be curious to learn and explore more about, see, I think it's all about passion. See, 8 months back, I had this
Hmm.
idea that I wanted to do something related to, legal tech platform, because I was seeing firms like Harvey and few other firms, very notably, and all
Hmm.
these firms were, like, it was like so stunning that, in such a short period of time, that they were
Hmm.
able to do something remarkable. And I
Hmm.
realized, what about India? What are we going to do in this ecosystem? And 8 months back, all I had was an idea, but I realized that to build something like this, it would take so much of resources. And I
Hmm.
spent 8 months learning each and everything, right from programming language to coding. And, you know, like, if you ask me right now, what is AI? I would be able to give you 10 layers that happens behind the AI infrastructure.
Okay.
And that is because lack of resources, because I was not a person who was ready to invest so much into a platform initially. And all I had was, a curiosity to learn, and to do something which I was passionate about. So right now, a graduate who is coming out right now, they have plenty of options, trust me. Right now, if
Hmm.
we were 23, 24, graduating out of university, I think
Hmm.
in the fifth year, they'll have much more clarity than the times that we graduated in.
Yes. And I
I
think
think,
that yes,
yeah,
continue please.
go ahead, please.
No, I think that when we were studying, like things were transforming. It was not like AI was just, we can hear that. But now it
Yeah.
has become such powerful, like everywhere it is there. So things are changing at a very fast pace. And I think we should be more, the law students especially should be more aware about it, right?
See, even you have plenty of opportunities. Like,
Mm.
you could do millions and millions of experiments that you want to
Mm.
start with.
Mm.
I chose a domain because, I felt there was a need, and even the product could be feasible. It is
Mm.
not just the passion. At the end of the day, I believe passion should be feasible as well, because that is what makes you run.
Exactly.
Passion. without making something feasible is not going to work for you. And
Mm,
if I were to tell graduates who are coming out right now, start, you know, your career somewhere with, exploring about how you could basically, use AI models.
mhm,
Uh, Probably, say for example, you are someone who wants to specialize in company,
mhm,
dive more into the topic, see what you can do with it, have your own set
mhm,
of, database. And I
mhm,
think the data is your moat, basically. Say for example, right now I've been, collecting a lot and lots of data, like probably, uh, documents which are from 1980s, 1970s, and
mhm,
a lot of data probably for, last 50 years. And
mhm.
I've been researching through a lot, because it's not just about what is going to be the future, but what are you going to do with the past data as well, because that is how it works. So if you're going to be choosing a specific domain and you're interested in a specific domain, deep dive into it, start understanding what is AI basically. It's not just about,
Exactly.
it's the most difficult topic is, you know, telling people and convincing people, no, this is not AI. Because AI is
Mm,
really vast. It could be anything. It is it is how you
yes.
start leveraging
Mm,
according to your needs. So there are plenty of firms right now who are focusing on a lot of things. Even if you are a graduate who is a freelancer, trust me, if you are a graduate who knows how to use AI, you will have 5 times the pay than the normal graduate who's coming out right now, because they are going to be choosing a traditional path. But whereas
mm,
you
yes.
will have a much big leverage, and even if it is not going to work in India, there are plenty of firms right now in the world, because you should always be equipping yourself and should not be restricting yourself. If I have to put it in a way, you should not
Yes.
restrict yourself to be like, this is what is going to work here. This is not, because once you start taking AI in legal space, you have such a credibility that you'll be able to understand from being a lawyer on how compliance works, how drafting works, or how being a lawyer you expect a reply from AI, and at the same time you have something, at least probably say, no, even if it does not have to be 50%, but at least say 30 to 40% of what a AI specialist would have. Say for example, you want to implement AI in a firm and you get a chance to do that, you get an opportunity to do that. I think that will be a much more bigger leverage, and that big leverage will actually give you a much more advantage than the interns or any graduates who are just going to take the traditional route. And trust me, you'll be learning at a much faster pace, because
Mm,
even 3 weeks back, when I 3 or 4 weeks back, I wanted to, ask few questions related to all this legal tech platform that I'm working on, since it is, domain specific to land. And, the answer that I got was, you should be able to understand the definitions, the book definitions of, all these acts and everything. And my question comes today is, if the AI has every information that you need, what is your role in this space going to be? Because you cannot consume, or you cannot have as much as knowledge as an AI. Because right now, if you want any question, it could be answered in a span of seconds. Whereas if we have to answer that, it'll take a lot of time.
exactly. Yes.
So how are you going to leverage? Are you going to be, you know, are you going to be, using a cognitive for storing data, or is it going to be for thinking? How we are going to be leveraging this? So I think that is a space we have to move towards.
Yes, you are right. Actually, I mean, if we ask this question only, like, if you have all the data in front of you, so if I am asking the same question which you are saying, so how actually a lawyer should work? Like, this is something which is intriguing, right? What do you think about it? Like, you have the data, you have everything. So, what's the lawyer's work, right?
I'll tell you the reason I was able to put this into practice is, uh, I did join a law course in India before, moving to England. And when I joined the course, I realized it was completely different. Like, I had to study a lot of materials. Like, they gave me books and I had to attend like right from morning 9 to I think 4. It was in Bangalore. But fortunately, I did not have to learn the language. Whereas, in states like Tamil Nadu, you have, no matter, even if you're a graduate, you're supposed to learn the regional language again. And this is something that I believe shouldn't be actually, brought into education, because you've been learning the regional language for almost 18 years, and again when you step into college, it's not like you have to learn. And it was more about, you knowing what these acts definitions were meant to be. But then when the education system, when I moved to England, the education system was all about, it was just 8 hours in a week, and not for a subject. It was for the probably 4 to 5 subjects. It was only 8 hours a week. Each subject had 2 hours a week, and rest of the days were meant to, probably, you're supposed to be reading a lot of journals, a lot of books, and at the end of the day, it was all about interpretation. Say, for example, you're reading a journal and you're reading a book. What do you imply from all these things? How are you gonna leverage? Say, for example, I'm giving you a situation, and I'm telling you, based on what you learned, tell me how could you deal with this situation. And I think that is the type of practice that we have to start bringing here. We have learned everything, but how are we going to bring it into practice? Say, for
Okay.
example, I'm giving you a set of questions. It doesn't have to be a question. Say, for example, I'm giving you a situation, because that is how we are going to be dealing. No one is going to be asking what does section 2 bar 5 means.
Absolutely. So application based, right? The application based, how we are
Exactly.
applying all the laws, and yes, that's very, because that
That is
is what.
what we
Yeah.
that is what we call it as IRAC method.
Yes.
Basically, how are you going to, you have a issue, what is the rule, what is the application, what is the conclusion.
Applications. Conclusion. Yes.
And I think this is a skill which cannot be replaced by any AI in any point of time.
Absolutely. So, like, so much happening right now, and it's a very crucial journey for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, see, even now, there are a lot of things which the platform which I'm building needs resources from government. Because when you consider, feel like healthcare or, law specifically, I mean, even finance sector, it is completely different, because it doesn't have a lot of things to do with government, though. I mean, certain things, yes. But when it comes to law, or, when it comes to health, it is completely different, because you can't invent something on your own. It is like you have a certain set of laws which has been drafted, which is in practice, and you're supposed to stay within it. And the resources from government has to help this ecosystem to grow together. It is like vice versa. You help the ecosystem, and the ecosystem helps you. So it has a lot of things to do with the government.
Yes.
And I think once the whole ecosystem starts improving, say, for example, we try to roll out, programs where, law graduates equip themselves with AI, and even a little contribution, over the weekend could do wonders. And that's the whole reason I told you, India has a biggest leverage when it comes to AI in legal, because each one could contribute a lot. See, you're somewhere and I'm somewhere, and today we are talking about AI here.
Yes.
And imagine, there must be, I think, probably, a lot of minds like us, where we have to, bring it together, we have to discuss, we have to, start contributing to, the whole ecosystem. How can we help each other, and how can we, start helping the recent graduates or whatsoever, because at the end of the day, it is all going to come into the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yes.
I mean, you can't just make a product for someone who's not willing to use it. Say, for example, my product is going to be for someone who wants to, use AI,
Hmm.
and I can't be, convincing someone who thinks that AI is going to replace their jobs. It is very
Hmm.
difficult, because at the end of the day, no matter I try to convince them, look, this is basically helping you. This is basically, uh, giving you a much more bigger advantage. Say, for example, you expect a draft from, from a junior lawyer, and that draft is going to be different from someone who's into practice for almost 20 to 25 years. But
Exactly.
you could use the same leverage through AI.
Hmm.
So when the whole ecosystem starts improving,
Hmm.
it'll help each and everyone. And I think that is what we need to equip this generation of lawyers with.
So you were in UK, so why didn't you just I mean, like, this is something which is related to you personally, so why didn't you continue there, something there, or why was this switch to India? Because you had lots of opportunity, you worked there also, so why you wanted to come here and explore?
I mean, to be honest, I feel I could do much better here because of the, network. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was not just about, uh, being a monotonous job. Of course, I had a, very good offer in UK. If I wanted to be there, probably, I could have been there. But what I realized is I could use my knowledge. Initially there were a lot of, what I would say, backlashes, from a lot of people telling, the knowledge that you gain there and what you study here does not differ. No, it differs a lot. The concepts might be the same, but how
Mm.
you use it is completely different. If I was not a person who had studied there, I don't
Mm.
think I would be able to use or think in a very structured manner,
Mm.
if I have to use the right words. Right now, if you ask me to, Guhan, you are in such a situation, how would you plan? I think it has equipped me in a really good way. And I would advise every one of them to at least, give a try, moving to a different city, moving to a different space, learning, and then coming back here, so that, you know, you could contribute more to the ecosystem. What, made you grow. I think that's the right part to put here, because I even tell a lot of people, who study there, a lot of my fellow mates, because things are getting tough even in other countries. It's not like, just because you have a good offer, it's like so
Mm.
exciting. And at the end of the day, nothing beats the joy of being in your own country and having your family around. And
Yes.
nothing can beat that. No exciting offer, no lifestyle can do that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it feels really bad, like you came back with a hope, you came back with a vision, and things are not moving forward in the way you wanted it to. But I think we've got nothing to lose. It's just,
Mm.
I mean, too soon to judge. I think until the time we live, there's always some curiosity and there's always a hope. And that's the whole reason I came here. And I realized, even I did a pro bono during my second year.
Mm.
And I wrote a research where it was specifically focused on domestic violence in India.
Okay.
And it was really shocking for me, because almost more than 70% of the people in India, they don't raise their voice against domestic violence.
Mm.
And it was not just the reason because of the society, but it was because of the legal cost.
Mm. Absolutely. Yes, this is one of the drawbacks which
It
face
is
normal
because
people.
of the
Yes.
it is because of the legal cost. And it was really, I felt really bad,
Mm.
uh, like, coming from India, we study, we do everything, but our own country, the legal system is completely different. It's like even when I came back here, uh, you know, people told me, சட்ட புத்தகம் எங்க இருக்கு அது தட்டிப்பா. What it means is like the law book will be lying somewhere. You're supposed to dust it and keep it.
Okay.
Don't
Yes.
think that law will be into practice here. It is
This is
it
true.
is
Like whatever we watch in movies or whatever we see, it's not. It's very different from the reality. It's true.
it
Absolutely
is
true.
it is very different from reality. And I think our generation lawyers should improve the system.
Yes, and I think you had an experience in UK, and you like when you come back to another country, or for instance your own country, so you had a like lot of experience from what you have learned from UK, right? So that also widens your thought process, isn't that true? Because
It
it's
is
not because when a person who has experienced something different and when they compare with this country whatever, they have like, okay, this is also the way it is done, right? So I think that has helped you a lot to have a wider understanding of India and
wider
its system.
understanding, and also, I think uh, to be more humbled, because
Yes.
when you see a lot of problems, uh, you know say for example, we meet a lot of people in our life, but how much do we actually think that we want to contribute to the ecosystem and you know change it.
Yes.
I mean, we see, for example, say we see a lot of people, IT people especially, working 6 days week, sometimes 6 days a week. I have seen people, telling that they sleep at 3 and they wake up at 8 and they work again and again. And I even asked them, few of my friends, I asked them, don't you ever complain about it? They're like, there's no such strict enforcing laws here that you know gives you what you deserve.
Hmm.
Gives you what you deserve. Say, for example, if you were in a different country, even if you work for an extra minute, you are supposed to be deserving the pay that you are entitled to.
Yes.
And that's the
Hmm.
whole reason I told that once the citizens start getting aware of their rights, the whole ecosystem improves. And when this whole ecosystem improves, it needs lots and lots of lawyers who can be willing to, uh, fight for and contribute to the ecosystem. And once this starts happening, A will be a biggest leverage because it can reduce the legal costs and it can speed up your work. For example, a person like us who can use AI and who can leverage the skills and everything, who is just going to be using the reasoning and more about thinking and delegating probably rest of the work to AI, will be able to contribute to the ecosystem even more than the traditional lawyers.
Yes, I think that's absolutely true. So
And the whole ecosystem will start improving. And I think at that point of time, this whole fear of AI replacing the jobs will fade away.
yes, this mindset has to change. Like something constructive in a different dimension we have to think about it. Like we should not think, okay, AI is just taking our jobs, we will not do anything, we'll be unemployed and that. No, we have to change the mindset here, right? And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, of
very
course.
because it's assisting us and we should take it as an assistant only, not as a replacement.
Imagine
And
a non-technical person like me has been able to learn so much and build a platform.
Mhm.
So imagine the type of leverage that it actually gives you,
Mm. Yes,
because
absolutely.
a technical person who wants to bring something into the legal space won't be able to do it, because as I told you earlier, this field requires a lot and lot of technicalities. when it comes to
Mm,
compliance or even the way of
mm,
thinking, how you're supposed to. Because during your the whole journey of studying law, you equip yourself and you start thinking
mm,
differently from the other people. You start seeing situations in a more pragmatic manner. When you look at a situation, you start thinking for solutions rather than seeing it as
mm.
a problem. Right
Yes.
now, say for example, you are a person who deals with the situation right now. It could be any situation, it could be
Mm,
anything.
mm.
And imagine a non-lawyer person who's dealing with the same situation. The way you think and the way they think will be completely different.
Absolutely. Yes.
It'll be very different.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that leverage to think differently, and I think even as I told you, even if you're not going to be 100% AI specialist or anything, the advantage that you'll still have is much more bigger, and that is what we should be focusing on.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because as as we have already said about it, right? That we have to be more constructive in our approach rather than just giving up.
Yeah.
And all right. So anything, like we are ending this session. So anything which you want to say at the end right now? I mean, to everyone. So what do you suggest? How do you feel about what is going to happen in the near future? Maybe 5 years or whatever.
Be curious to learn and think AI as your friend rather than having a fear that it might replace. Of course, it is competitive, but at the end of the day, it is also exciting. Once you start taking a journey with a positive hope, it is all about the
Mm,
perspective that you start taking your life with. If personally, if I have to, start taking the challenge that knowing that it is competitive and having a curiosity to uh, race against it,
mm,
everything will start changing. But if I have to go put myself in a situation where I start thinking like I'm so behind that I haven't learned anything, and just being in an anxious state will not improve. So I think I would say start looking at life differently. I think once that
mm,
perspective starts changing inner, everything else will start changing. And of course, coming out of college and graduating, it puts us in a lot of dilemma. And once each of our friends start getting placed in different firms, and you know we always think that probably we're not doing any better. But no, life will have very different things for you. And once you start you know uh, start equipping yourself to those opportunities, opportunities will land. And your hard work will be in place, and that is what we call as luck. So
yes.
luck comes to a person who's already equipped. And in another 5 years, I think we'll have much bigger advantage when it comes to legal space than any other country. And I want that to happen, honestly. And
And
I
I
want
think we'll
a,
be contributing also to it.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely. And I want every professional in the country, graduates or whoever is practicing right now, you know, to be in a much better position than we are right now, in terms
Yeah.
of pay and in terms of everything. Because I see a lot of graduates, so sad to see, who wants to get out of the field because it is not rewarding. And I think
Mm,
gracefully it should start changing with this practice.
mm,
Once you start leveraging, even a little contribution is fine, but that contribution, it's like a tiny drop from each and everyone, will get into a
mm.
will be a very big ocean. And for the betterment of lawyers and for the betterment of the society, and I think, yeah, there'll be a lot of improvements, and we should start driving towards that.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. And wait.